And this session and all of them that we're going to learn today should be dedicated to Refuah Shlema, our dear Rabbi Yaron Roven Shlita. His name is Yaron Ben Doris. Also Ariela Ora Basana, Imima Rasi Rachel Bas Brindel, Yehudis Bas Noach, and David Shlomo Ben Sandra. Right, and also a quick release of Moshe Shmuel Ben Pnina and Atzlacha Rabba to Geveres Chana Bas Avraham Avinu and the whole family. BeEzrat HaShem. Continue with our book Shabbos Home, and that's very interesting. So yesterday when we did review in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, so we did review of the 39 Melachas, and we went this as the Kitzur explained. It's not Kitzur, it's like a commentary on Kitzur. So this rabbis explained to us the 6 Melachas connected to the preparing of the skins of the animals in order to make a covering, right? And one of them was tanning, and we covered yesterday tanning. Of course, I gave just few examples, but here we're going to go into details, and we were talking about salting, right, and packing and salt and stuff like that. So okay, so next one second, let me see what the topic of this section. 1 second. Okay. So it's section number 4. Sorry, and our topic is applying the melacha of tanning to food. Okay. And we're on subsection B. Okay. So subsection B, it's salting, and first we cover food to which the salting prohibition applies, and now permissible methods of salting. And it says, it is not absolutely forbidden to salt these foods on Shabbos. If one is careful not to salt them in a large number and not to prepare them for a later time, one may salt foods that are normally forbidden, for example, raw vegetables. The question of precisely how many pieces of food may be salted is at once on Shabbos is a matter of dispute. In practice, we should follow the stringent view. Hence, one must keep the following guidelines. Okay. So before we go into the guidelines, again, salting, we said it's forbidden, or salting of food is forbidden because that's similar to the tanning, how they would do tanning with packing in salt, this hide, or they would put it in some kind of solution, the brine, right? That would make it this hides durable, right? They try to make the hides into the leather. Okay, so now, so they say same, like very similar, right? It's good preservation, right? So now we're very similar with foods that we pickle foods, for example. But he said if we do it in a small quantity, so it's not like so when a person pickles, for example, something, it's not for today, it's for some time from now. But when a person salting like vegetables, for example, some people like the cucumbers, not I think it's all the European side. I think did they eat a lot of salads in Europe? I don't think so. Maybe like many people, maybe it was not enough vegetables. I'm not sure why, but many people did not say. If you even read old books, did not read eat as a salad, but as like separate like vegetables. For example, they would cut tomato into 4 pieces, like smaller one, right? A bigger one to 20 pieces, right? And they eat like that. Or cucumbers, right? Peel it, for example, if needed, right? Cut it in half and put salt, and that's how they eat. Okay, so meaning if you're going to eat only one at a time, as we're going to see, there is also salt one at a time. There is no problem, because most likely that you're going to eat this piece right now, so it's not going to be for the future. But if you say no, I'm so hungry, we're talking about Shabbos, I'm so hungry, I'm going to eat 3 pieces, maybe yes, maybe no. So don't do 3 pieces, do 1 piece, right? When the time comes, the next one you're going to eat. Next one. Okay, so continue. So now, as he said, as always, we preferable to go by the stricter view. But also we have to know the more lenient views in case of a great need. Okay. So, and it says, number one, a single piece of food may be salted or dipped into the salt immediately before it will be eaten. Okay. It is forbidden, however, to salt more than one piece at a time, even immediately before eating, or to salt even one piece at the time if it's not ready, if not ready to eat. Okay. So let's do this first comment. So basically, idea is, the logic is, if you do it one piece for right now, most likely that you're going to eat. But if the person said, for sure, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat 15 minutes from now, maybe he's going to change mind and eat some other food. Right? So they say one piece and for right now. So let's quickly read it, just make sure that I don't miss anything. The single piece of food may be salted, as we said, or dip into salt. So we said this salt dish, but we be careful, as we explained, that a person should have two of them, one for dairy, one for meat. Okay, even the one for dairy, one for meat. Even nobody, I guess, that dip meat in there. It's usually for bread or for vegetables, but still. Okay, immediately before, right, 1 second. It is forbidden, however, to salt more than one piece at a time, even immediately before eating. So, I mean, in a person say, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. Most likely, maybe yes, maybe not. Okay. Or to salt even one piece at a time if one is not ready to eat. So, and in some cases, we actually were lenient, not in this melacha. I remember where, I remind you where, in a case of borer. Right, borer is like separating. Right, we said it is allowed to separate good from bad and for right now. Right, or if you don't have any other option, the only way to separate bad from good, right, something inedible for edible, right, and it's for right now, you still can do it. So I mean, in peel an egg, right, you cannot take egg from the shell, you have to take the shell from the egg, right? But there we said what's the definition for right now, and we said it's actually whatever it's time needed for preparation for that meal. So for example, if a woman needs to prepare for 15 people, I don't know, many relatives are coming to their home, right? They celebrate your son bar mitzvah, let's say, right? So now to make a fresh food like salads or other things that's better, for example, when they're fresh, for 15 people, or even like to serve, like to cut other pieces, or whatever needs to be done. So meaning if she needs 2 hours preparation, 3 hours preparation, so these 3 hours, it's like it's considered right before the meal, right? So she can start if they're going to come whatever time, so 3 hours before that time. Okay, there is no problem. But here it's not like that. Here he said we don't go by that. Only like one piece at a time, and only in exactly when person is sitting down and ready to eat. So next one, number 2, the liquid is poured over the food before salting. If the right, one is permitted to salt even many pieces of food at once. The liquid dilutes salt and tempers its sharpness. Salting with diluted salt does not resemble the act of tanning. The same applies to the liquid. If the liquid is added immediately after the food is salted, however, it should be preferably be added before salting. So that's our salad, basically, if you understand what it says. Right? If you have a salad and you have dressing, and then you forgot to add salt, or did not add enough salt. So basically, it's in this case, how you usually make a salad. You make salad, you put pepper, salt, or whatever you put, and then you put dressing. Usually, I mean, that's how we do the salad. But here they say that preferably it's possible, like to go according to all of the opinions. If you go first, you add the dressing, and then you salt. So if you think it's a big difference, I don't think it's a big difference. Anyway, you're going to mix, and the dressing and the salt should, you want to to spread out evenly to all food. So it's not a big difference. Even if you do opposite, first you salt and then add the dressing, or you add olive oil or a different oil, avocado oil, people add, right? There is no problem. Okay. So meaning these liquids are going to dull the sharpness of the salt. All right. So let's quickly read it and see if we did not miss anything. So again, number 2 from the beginning. If a liquid is poured over the food before salting, so a liquid olive oil dressing, right? One is permitted to salt even many pieces of food at once. So, or for example, if someone wants to add salt, so do it in your plate, right? So as I say, okay. So some people like a little spicy. Sometimes some people don't eat spicy for whatever reason. So they can add the hot sauce in their plate, right? Or salt. They like a little more salty, so do it in your plate, okay? In your bowl if it's soup or something, right? In the soup is easy because you mix with the liquid. The liquid dilutes the salt, as we understand, and tempers its sharpness. Salting with diluted salt does not resemble the act of tanning, so which is good, right? So we said the act of tanning is what? One approach has been learned like packing with the salt, meaning a lot of salt on one piece of leather. No, not leather. Leather is and product height. Okay. The same applies if the liquid is added immediately after the food, right? Salted. So meaning preferably to have straightforward understanding, the first add liquid and then salt. But if you do it opposite, in reverse, anyway you're going to mix right now, that's not a big difference. Okay. However, it should preferably added before the salted. As we said, that's a straightforward way. So then continue with C. Okay, and it says food that are entirely exempt from this prohibition. Okay. So before we go to this section, so we said what usually people salt. Something like they salt for preservation, right? Usually vegetables, fish, right? But usually vegetables. Fruits, do they do fruits? I'm not sure. Do they salt for? Maybe pickled fruits. So continue. Foods that are entirely exempt from the prohibition. There are many foods in which salt affects no real change in the quality or texture, but to which is merely added flavor. Right? Salt in these foods in not resemble salting heights. Therefore, these foods are exempt from the salting prohibition and may be salted in a regular manner. Okay. The exemption applies in the exemption applies in the main to the foods that have been cooked, such as cooked meat, fish, vegetables, and eggs. Okay. Salt in these foods does not change their texture. They are salted for flavor only. Even cooked foods should not be salted too far in advance of eating. They may be salted in preparation for the next meal, for example, breakfast for lunch, right, as we said, but not for the meal after that. Okay, so let's, before we continue, let's review this piece again. Okay, so again, our subsection C is foods that are entirely exempt from prohibition. These are foods that, so meaning that, as we said, why we salt these heights to affect we said, I don't know, to preserve them, so they would be softer, this and that, all this more durable. So meaning that this salt was to add a good quality, to improve the quality of the heights. Okay. So meaning when when we say that something is talada, right, like a derivation from like a similar activities that was done in ab milacha, like main milacha, so we said that it has to be like comply with the main idea. So main idea is in the heights is preservation, preservation and that improving of the texture. So meaning it's this hides become it's the first step before making a leather. Okay, I'm not sure. First step, one of the steps. Okay, so again, there are many foods to which salt affects no real change in quality or texture. So meaning, right, what? But to which merely adds flavor. So something like chicken or something undersalted. Salt in these foods does not resemble salt in heights. Again, why? The basic idea is to improve the quality. Therefore, these foods are exempt from salt in prohibition and may be salted in a regular manner. So meaning the quality does not change. Flavor will change, but that's it. So quality is not changed. Okay, this example, right? But when you salt vegetables, they do change. For example, as examples that we gave, sharp vegetables, right? Before that, it was impossible to eat. So some people, I know in Europe for sure, people ate raw garlic, right? Just part of the meal. Some of them get sharp and raw onions, right? That's because of poverty. Right, and for health reasons, they did not have all the flu shots. Now everywhere, like we have a flu shots, all these things. But in the olden days, it was not like that. There were no flu shots, and the best flu shot you follow HaShem instruction and do ishtadlus. What is ishtadlus? To eat garlic and to eat onions, right? So and of course they are very sharp. So the people would dip them into the salt. That's it. Very simple. So salt is right. This salt for sure it's like changing the quality because now this food becomes edible, more edible. Okay. This exemption applies to the main in the main two foods that have been cooked, right? So meaning if it's cooked is this salt is going to change the texture? Absolutely not. It's going to make it tastier if you like a little more saltier, but that's it. Such as cooked meat, fish, vegetables, and or eggs. So again, it's not going to affect the texture. Salt in this food does not change the texture. Here we go, and the salting for flavor only, right? But again. So here, what he said in my mind, what he said, like try, like if once you learn the logic, try to follow the same logic everywhere, right? Which is what when cooked foods, even the cooked foods should not be salted too far in advance of eating. They may be salted in preparation for the next meal, etc. Breakfast for lunch, but not for the meal after that. So what does it mean? Simple example. So you cook soup, right? And let's say it was on a blech, right? And each you want to salt it, and you taste it, and it's not enough salt. So you cannot salt in a pot. Right, technically, what like in weekdays. So what we would do it, put salt in a pot, like mix it because it's hot, so the salt is going to dissolve, and now you can serve. But here it's like most likely you're not going to finish the whole pot of the soup. So it's going to be in a sense, it's going to be preparation for a weekday. So that's why it's proper. Right, to pour the soup, distribute the soup as it is, and let everybody put the salt in their plate. So according to their bowl, not plate, in their bowl, according to what we said here. So very very practical example. Other things besides food, so I mean all other vegetables, for example, they some vegetables not enough salt. Okay, so you use some sauce or. Right, we always say add salt to your own plate. Does not happen in our house as well. Everything is good, and it's actually the different separate mitzvah. Just to remind us, we learned in our class preparation for Shabbos. There is a separate mitzvah for everybody to taste, everybody in the family to taste some foods. not to eat this food, not to satiation, but a little taste to make sure that it's going to be shalom bayis. So now to see if there is enough seasoning in every food. That's it. So every person in the family, kids also, right, can do the mitzvah, taste one dish, and now they fulfill this mitzvah to taste the food on Shabbos before Shabbos, right? And make sure there is shalom bayis. Otherwise, I mean, I heard for a woman. I'm not sure how is it possible. So this husband is in front of the guest. He said, "Again, you did not. I told you 3 times to taste it. Well, what are we going to do on Shabbos? You embarrass me in front of the guests." So he said that she's embarrassed his poor wife. I don't know how he's still alive, this guy, but I don't know. Right? So he's saying in front of the guests. That's what she said. Right? that she's embarrassing him is an undersalted dish. I don't know. Right? So that's you see our sages and great wisdom, they could foresee all of this information. They said taste it, right, and it's going to be mitzvah. Right? It's not like you ate some delicious food, you're going to get the mitzvah. So simple. Continue, and we're up to the subsection 3, and it says making salt water. Right, as we said for Pesach especially. One is prohibited to make salt water mixture or brine. Yeah, there is brine on Shabbos, unless it appears that he is preparing to engage in pickling foods, which is forbidden. The prohibition applies only to the water, but not other liquids not only to the water, but other liquids as well, such as wine or vinegar. One may not mix any liquid with a large quantity of salt on Shabbos. This applies to the mixture. There is at least 2 parts of salt and 1 part of water, so it's very concentrated, or other liquids. Since salt water of this strength is generally used for pickling, it is not to be prepared on Shabbos. One is permitted, however, to prepare a mixture in a less than 2 parts salt, provided that he does not make the large quantities, which would again indicate that it is intended for pickling purposes. If one adds oil to the water, right, that's famous one, before he mixes in salt, right, or to the salt before he mixes with water, he is permitted to make this mixture on Shabbos. This all weakens the power of oil. The oil weakens the power of salt and renders the mixture unfit for pickling purposes. Therefore, it is permitted. So let's do from the beginning. So I'm not sure. Somehow I thought that he would say about Pesach. So for Pesach Seder we need salty water. So right, salt water. So meaning just first of all prepare as with everything. Try to prepare it before Shabbos or before Yom Tov. Right, even on Yom Tov you are allowed to cook foods, but this salt water is a exemption. So, but again, if you think about that, this mixture is so strong, it's so concentrated, like double, let's say 2 cups of water, 1 cup of water and 2 cups of salt. It's a lot. It's very strong, right? I have to ask my family what do they do. They do some pickling vegetables. I don't think that it's so strong. I don't think so. I never drank the brine, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not pickling what they do. I'm not sure. I think it's pickling, but let's see. Oh, they do with they do with vinegar. So it's different. Not only salt, some salt, but a lot of vinegar. So that's a different thing. Okay, so from the beginning, one is prohibited to make a salt water mixture, brine. So a salt water mixture called brine On Shabbat, lest it appear, is prepared for pickling foods is forbidden. So, besides Pesach, I'm not sure why people would do. I mean, I think for medical reasons. We had one person, and they were using, I think this salt water, something like for nose congestion. Congestion. They tried to clean it like it was some machine, and I said there is electricity. They say there is no electricity, like some manual, some pump, like to clean out the nose, and then for a baby, I don't know, and they would need to make this salt water. So was in the class. I'm not sure how it came up. So I told them, look, why don't you make it before Shabbos? I just do not understand what is the problem. And I think they explained they need warmer, right? So they need warmer for technically they can put it if they put it the way I understand. So if they put it next to the hot plate, right, not on hot plate, next to hot plate, on the countertop, or if they have blech next to the blech before Shabbos. So it's not like they doing something forbidden, and this water is going to be warm, lukewarm. It's not hot, but lukewarm and good enough to use in the nose. Okay. Right. So, but that's the only case when I heard that people would need salt water on Shabbos, right? Otherwise, I don't know how people use it. So on Pesach we dip potato, right? So some people use onions, right? Karpas into water, and then we dip egg. That's it. But, I don't know. Maybe some in some cultures they add they dip some other things. I'm not sure. Okay. The prohibition applies only to the water, not only to the water, but other liquids as well, such as wine and vinegar. So vinegar is people would make this what is it pickle solution with the vinegar. Wine, I don't know, maybe. Okay, so wine I think costs a lot of money to put salt into wine. Okay. Right. So again, but even though it's mixing with the vinegar, it's not going to be 2 parts of the salt and 1 part of the vinegar. Right. One may not mix liquid with large. One may not mix with liquid with large quantity of salt on Shabbos. So right, and what is it? What is it? Large quantity of salt, 2 to 1. So 2 of salt, 1 to liquid. Okay. So. Right, so meaning since the salt water of these strands generally used for pickling, so meaning even in a few days I understand the food is going to be ready, most likely, 3-4 days I think. It may be prepared on Shabbos, right? May not be prepared on Shabbos because it's these strands. One is permitted, however, to prepare mixture of less than 2 parts of salt, provided that he does not make it in large quantities, which would again indicate that it is intended for pickling purposes, right? So that's what I said. I told this lady. So I mean, she would add it was a small container, tiny, a little salt. So I said there is no problem whatsoever. From the picture from the container that she sent me, of course I said I'll put some so I have to understand how many cc milliliters and these things and how much salt it's 1 to 100 maybe not 100 but maybe 1 to 50 or something. So for sure there is no problem whatsoever. Okay, so continue. One adds oil, so oil dulls this the mixture, and there is no problem. Weakens the power of the salt. Okay, so let's do a last part, which is practical applications. So practical application not about salting, but of the whole chapter of tanning. Right, and it says bending new leather shoes. In order to wear new leather shoes, it is sometimes necessary to bend them back and front of the shoe in order to soften the leather. Right. This is not be done on Shabbos for softening leather violates the melach of tanning. So that's clear. I mean, this thing, this book was written a long time ago. But I remember in my days that's if you don't bend the shoes back and forth, like you can kill your feet, right? It was very stiff, right? It said I'm not talking about cheap shoes, right? Even normal quality, but today they whatever technology is you buy these shoes. Even though Shulchan Aruch says it's not allowed to wear new shoes on Shabbos. If you're going to wear lots like first time, absolutely forbidden. So make sure that and that's what it is tell people, right? Make sure that you walk in home, like for example, a few hours, maybe before Shabbos, Thursday or something like so. So you get comfortable and you see that it's comfortable, so you can walk. The shoes to Shabbos and back, right? To the shul and back. Otherwise, it would be a big problem, right? So, but today the shoes they make it so soft, so like and the sole like so flexible. It's unbelievable. It's nothing to compare even to the olden days, right? So, okay, but again to bend it to make it soft, absolutely forbidden. So B, inserting a shoe tree. Right. On Shabbos one may not insert shoe tree. So it's all. I think it would be allowed if you try like to preserve the form. For example, if you you got like the shoe got was wet under the rain. So now if you don't put the shoe tree, it's going to get ruined. That's a problem. Especially, it's not allowed to wear it next to radiator. I mean, if you do it, most likely you're going to kill the shoes. Okay. So on Shabbos, one is not may not insert a shoe tree into the shoe that has lost its shape. For example, that has dried after being soaked in the rain. Right. So meaning not good idea. By doing so, one stretches the leather, thereby violating the melach of tanning, right? And we actually said in the beginning of this chapter that they would stretch the leather on this on a frame. So, and that's in a sense that's what they do, right? The stretching. However, it is permitted to insert these trees into the shoe. I mean, there is shoe tree, but today most of them I think in plastic. But we got the idea, right? Shoe trees that have not lost their shape. So I mean, right? So I mean, just for preservation. For this, does not stretch the leather into new shape, but simply prevent it from losing the original shape. So meaning the person just wanted. Right, so it's Shabbos shoes. So how often person wears? Only once a week. So right, so every time when they have this, this routine, they would always put this shoe tree in. Right, so some shoes come with that, and sometimes you have to buy. Right, they're not expensive. Okay. Continue. Accordingly, one may place shoe tree into the shoes that are still wet from the rain, right? For they do not lose their shape until they dry. So, meaning if it's still wet, they still keep the form. But I would say it's don't put the shoe tree. Put there some paper towel or something. So this paper in olden days would be put newspapers or something, right? We don't have paper towels that this thing can absorb the water. It would be better, right? It's not firm, of course, as a shoe tree, but still it's better like for preservation of the shoes. And then maybe later on you can put the shoe tree. Okay. If it's wet only from outside, but not from inside, there is no problem. So continue. So the next example, oiling articles of leather. Right. It is forbidden to oil leather article on Shabbos, such as leather upholstery, right? Boots, belts, etc. This improves the leather and is therefore prohibited under milacha of bait, right? Meaning, I'm not sure how many times people apply this leather. Like a long time ago, when I bought a leather bag, like this store, many years ago, when I had to go to my first job interview, right? So it says you have to come with a like presentable bag, right? Leather bag, of course. You don't buy a cheap bag, and they sold me and said, no, if you buy such a good bag, you have to buy this lotion. So so I never use this lotion, never ever, like never had time in my life to apply this lotion. Okay, Baruch HaShem. Right, so very interesting, right? So, but if somebody would apply this lotion they had, right, or let's say oil, I think olive oil would work. Well, maybe not as good as like a specific products, but still, right? So it would be forbidden. Okay. So next one, salt in vegetables. One is forbidden on Shabbos. Salt plate of uncooked vegetables, for example, lettuce, scallions, onions, carrots, etc. For permissible method, salt and see what we said before. All right, so I think we stop here. Perfect timing. And the next chapter that we're going to do next week, BeEzrat HaShem, is scraping. So it's you see exactly here we go as like what is it? The sequence as Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Scraping. All right, so let's stop here.